Here's why, as a vegan, I think that we should forgive Liver King and move on. Now, if you've been on the internet for the past few days, you know that he's everywhere. Liver King has been caught out that he's on steroids. He spends $16,000 Australian dollars on steroids every month after repeatedly lying about his steroid use, repeatedly lying about being natural. There's been a leaked email showing that he's what he's on, and that he's been completely lying to his viewers to the internet about being natural. I mean, if you haven't seen that video, More Plates, More Dates, Derek has made an amazing video, debunking and going through, it's almost like a documentary about why Liver King has lied and, the whole fraud behind his whole business, Ancestral Living. I'll link that down in the description box below. That's what sort of started this whole thing. He made a video on that leaked email, but I think it goes deeper. I don't think, obviously what Liver King did is he's frauding his viewers. He's selling supplements. He's selling this brand, this idea that, he is natural and that you can look like him by doing the things that he does, which is, eating raw liver, eating raw meat, which is just insane, especially as a vegan. That's just insane. That's disgusting. But Liver King is a symptom of the problem. He isn't the problem. And here's why I think that we should all forgive him and move on, is because this whole notion of someone lying about their steroid use to sell a product, it's not new. In fact, this is the fitness industry. This is the entire fitness industry. And I made videos about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again in this one. So many people in the fitness industry, majority of the people in the fitness industry, I'd go as far to say 80%, 80 to 90%, defraud you every single day. Most of the fitness influencers that you look at on social media, and they lie to your face about being natural. And they push this supplement, they push a particular brand on you. And it's subconscious, but it's that if you use their supplements, if you buy what they're selling, you're going to look like them. If you buy their workout plan, you're going to look like them. But that's not true, because behind the scenes, they're all injecting themselves. They're all on something. They're all on, SARMs or some sort of performance-enhancing drugs, which it's fraud. That's exactly what Liver King is doing. He's telling you that if you do what he says, if you eat raw liver, if you buy his Ancestral Living supplements, you're going to look like him. But, you need to, if you want to look like, I don't know why anyone would want to look like him. He looks like a hot dog. His physique is so off-putting. But the whole notion is that if you buy his supplements, if you follow his way of living, which is eating raw meat, you're going to have this physique, you're going to build muscle, you're going to go back to how our ancestors used to live like, is just, as we found out, it's just simply not true. And if you ever thought that he was natural, which is just crazy, because everyone, if you know anything about the fitness industry, from day one, he was not natural. You could tell easily by just looking at his face, by looking at his physique, you can tell that he's not natural. But I don't think that, what he's doing is so, obviously it's fraud, but it's not different to what everyone else in the fitness industry is doing. I think that everyone should be exposed. I think we should be exposing every single one of them. But obviously, the more attention that Liver King gets, the more he's going to milk from this. He's going to milk from this whole debacle. He's going to make more money from this than anything, because there's more attention. He has, more views than ever. Everyone in the fitness industry is talking about him, and obviously he wants to gain followers. He wants that attention on him. And one thing is, apart from all the steroids, apart from everything that he's taking, another thing, if you dive deeper into the email, one thing that he's doing is he's not eating raw meat for every single meal. He's eating things like maple syrup, like Greek yogurt, like protein shakes, almond butter. He opens up about this in the email, and that's just That's another big lie that he's selling onto his viewers, onto his audience, that, he eats nothing but what his ancestors used to eat, what primals used to eat. Primals didn't used to eat almond butter, Greek yogurt, maple syrup, sweet potatoes. Like, that's just insane. That's another big lie. The steroids is one lie, but lying about, eating raw meat and shitting on vegans constantly while doing so, but at the same time, eating things like sweet potatoes. I eat sweet potatoes. Eating things like almond butter. I eat almond butter. I love maple syrup. You know, he eats things. It's pretty obvious that he's been lying to his viewers for a long time, but I think it's important to address the fact that he's not someone that eats like primals as well. Apart from all steroids, what he eats is also a big lie. So I think the best thing to do from now on is to forgive him and to move on. The more attention that we put on him, and I know that this video is putting more attention on him, but I think that we should look at the fitness industry as a problem, and Liver King is just a symptom of that problem, of fake natties, people who lie about being natural to push a particular product on you. And the whole notion that you need so much protein to build muscle, you need to do this to build muscle, everyone's pushing a product on you. Everyone's trying to sell a supplement. Everyone's trying to sell more protein powders. Everyone who says you need, 200, 300 grams of protein, they're trying to sell a particular supplement. Every fake natty is trying to push something on you. And I think we need to be aware of that. We need to support more natural bodybuilders, more natural fitness influencers. And there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of vegan natural lifters out there. There's a lot of just people who speak the truth. Some of my favorite ones, Derek Simnet Nutrition, who is also a vegan. Brian Turner, also a vegan. Alpha Destiny, all these people. Omar Yusuf. They're not all vegan, but they're natural lifters out there. There are a lot of natural lifters out there who push for more, who just debunk the truth, and they push for more authenticity, who want to show you what the real truth is. I think we should be supporting them. And the more that we believe the myth that, you can look a particular way if you buy someone's product. Obviously, if you've been in the fitness industry, if you've seen it for a long time, you know that that's not true. But there's a lot of young, influential people out there who sort of buy into that. And I think that's the saddest part. And it sort of messes with their mental health, because no matter what they do, no matter what they eat, no matter how much of their products that they buy, they're not looking like them. And I think that's a big mental health issue, is body dysmorphia. And I think that's why a lot of young people, especially now more than ever, are getting into the path of performance-enhancing drugs, things like SARMs, is because they know that their favorite influencers are taking this, but they're not going to look like that unless they do it as well. So I think the Liver King is just a symptom of the problem, which is the fitness industry and fake natties everywhere. And I know that in the past, I used to be like, it's wanting to lie about your use, wanting to lie about being natural. But I used to think that in the past, if you don't say anything, that's fine. If you're not lying about being natural, but if you're not, openly saying that you're on something, I used to think that's fine. But now that's starting to change. Now I'm starting to think that, if you're not saying anything about your use, but you're still pushing something, if you're still pushing a product or a supplement, I think that's just as worse, because people can't tell that you're on something just because you're not being open about it. And obviously there's an argument that, if you're open about it, you're promoting the use of it. I don't think that's true. I think it's worse if you're not being open about what you're using. And I think that there should be more transparency about these sorts of things, especially since now more than ever transparency is such a big thing. And I respect, obviously I don't agree with people who use steroids, but I respect that they're open about it. if you use steroids, if you're open about it, if you're being transparent about it, about its side effects, about what it does to your body, I respect that. Obviously, I promote being natural. I am strongly against the use of steroids, against the use of performance-enhancing drugs in general, because I think fitness should be about health. But if you're open about it, I respect that. But to sum it up, I think that the Liver King is just a symptom of the problem. I think that we should be exposing every fake natty out there. Everyone who pushes a product on you, who lies to your face every single day about being natural when they're not. So we should forgive and move on from the Liver King. The more attention we show on him, the more he gains from it. And I think that we should be mindful about who's really telling the truth out there, because there's a lot of people who are continuing to lie to our face, who I think should be exposed.